this work? Oh, it does.
Test.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. This is awesome. Welcome to the other people. Come join us. Take a seat. I guess we'll just get this show on the road. So we'll start with intros. I'm Cleo. I am the Director of Brand Partnerships at Coco and Cowe. I also co-own an all-female DJ booking agency called Lux Life Sound, and we spin corporate and private events. From Edmonton, I know, unfortunate, but I've been in Toronto for 8 years, and this is now my home.
Okay, I'm Adeela Carter, and I own a company called the Carter Strategy Group. I also co-founded Pitch Better, and I am a partner at Wheelhouse Productions. So yes, I think we all wear many hats. And I was born in Trinidad, born and raised in Trinidad. I call Toronto home now. Call Toronto home, and I'm a mom of 2 girls.
The best girls.
Hi, everyone. Lovely to see you all here. My name is Priya Chopra, and I'm the founder of 2 agencies. The first agency is called One Milk, Two Sugars. It's basically a communications agency which operates at the intersection of PR, influencer marketing, and social media. We work with some of the top lifestyle brands in the world, and it's about a decade old. I have a second agency called Double Shot, and some of my Double Shot people representing here. Double Shot is a newer agency, and the mission of Double Shot is basically to connect all those amazing brand contacts that I've built over the years to BIPOC content creators and making sure those underrepresented voices are heard and given equal opportunity. So that's Double Shot. I'm from Montreal. I'm East Indian by origin. I am married to a Haitian French. So in my house, I have 3 beautiful babies, and I'm super pleased to be with you all today and share some of the tactics of negotiation that I've learned over 20 years of being an entrepreneur, so can't wait to take your questions as well.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mona Lisa Prosper. So I am the director of Futurpreneur's Black Entrepreneur Startup Program. So if some of you aren't familiar with Futurpreneur, very quickly, we're a nonprofit. We offer funding and mentorship to young entrepreneurs all over Canada, aged between 18 to 39. And last year, we launched this really great program that I'm happy to lead, targeting Black entrepreneurs. So any aspiring entrepreneurs, side hustlers, whatever it is, go to our booth and get more information. Aside from that, I'm from Montreal, originally from Haiti, and I'm super involved, sit on different boards. I like to be a little bit everywhere. I get bored very easily, so I get involved in so many things. So very happy to be here today.
All right, so I've got the envelope, and the winner is, hold on. We're gonna start with a few questions and make it conversational. All right, so the first question reads, how much time do you spend on building your personal brand? How has this opened doors? So I don't know, who wants to go first with that one? I'm looking at you, Cleo.
I'm gonna start because I feel like you ladies will have much more to say. My answer, to be completely transparent, is I don't spend enough time building my personal brand. I do the bare minimum. I try to keep my LinkedIn, my posts, updated and share as much as possible. But I know that there's a lot more to do, and I'm very curious to hear you ladies speak about that because I know that you do a lot more. And I'm just gonna say that building your personal brand is extremely important. So now I'm saying 2 opposite things. I don't do it enough, but it's super important. But it is, and it's.
You've done a great job because you're here.
Oh, there you go. All right, true.
Yes.
But even with the small things that I do, I may say it has helped me a lot in just, it's one thing to do and be involved in a lot of things, but it's also important for people to be aware, not in a bragging capacity, just because it's important to be out there to show. Because when you showcase the different things and involvements and achievements that you have, it's also inspiring to others that are watching, that it's, representation matters. I know everybody can agree and attest to this here. So yeah, very shortly, that's my very quick answer. I will let you ladies go.
I'm very similar to you, Mona Lisa. I actually don't spend enough time building my personal brand digitally. I think I've focused a lot on building my personal brand one-on-one with people in real life. I think I translate much better one-on-one than I do digitally. If you go on my Instagram, I literally only post my workout videos every day because I'm like, I worked out, keeping accountable, and that's basically all that I put on there. And to be frank with you, like even posting in my grid, I get tired of like seeing my own face all the time. So I'm like, I don't want to post another picture of my face or like my outfit. It annoys me for me, which is so silly, you guys. It's actually ridiculous. But I end up at these things or at events or whatever, and I'm like kind of in the moment. Like I don't want to be, I'm conscious of how much social media I consume and how I consume it, and I try really hard to be present, but that also means that I don't take a lot of photos and I forget to take videos, and all my friends or people I know are all content creators, so I'm like, they've got it, it's fine. And that's worked for a long time because I've tried to be in worlds and in spaces where I let the work speak for itself. But then there's a switch where the work has spoken for itself as long as it can, and you do have to start building your own personal brand. So something I'm definitely working on right now, and attempted to do that on the way here, and then I like fell down with my coffee. So I failed at it. I was like, you know what, we're done here.
Okay, I guess I will go next. I will say I am thinking about my personal brand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm the total opposite. Everything from what I'm going to keep private to what I'm going to show the public, what social media gets to see, a part of my life. So like I said earlier, I'm a mom of two daughters. People don't even know that sometimes, or they think I have one daughter, or I'm not showing my children on social media, just because I want to respect their privacy. And if that's something that they want to pursue as influencers or, as marketers in the future, then that's their choice. But for me, I think everything I do is very intentional, down to the suit that I'm wearing today. Like, if you know me, I'm very casual, monochromatic, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to BLAXPO. I bought this suit from a Black designer, menswear designer in New York City, and I'm like, this is the perfect event to wear this suit. So everything I'm thinking about intentionally and how it will affect my brand, how it will build my brand, not necessarily posting on social media like crazy, but making sure to put like the major points up there. Definitely BLAXPO is happening and everyone should be here today. But I don't know, it's a fine line between like sharing to oversharing and not sharing enough. So definitely thinking about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but really being intentional about what I post.
It would be illegal if I said that I don't care about about building a brand, because I work as an agency. That's what we do. We build brands. And there's an expression in French, the cordon mal chaussé, which means if you do something for others, but you can't do it for yourself. But in my case, I do consciously work on my brand. However, it's not through social media. So I don't even know how to do a TikTok. My team knows, okay? I don't know these things. I do reshare, and I have a somewhat time to kind of scroll social media, what have you. But I think there's other ways to build your brand beyond social media, because like many of the ladies said, we're not totally comfortable. It's not necessarily my element. A lot of the time people suggest to me, why don't you, do more videos or share more of what you're doing on social? But it just doesn't feel true to me. So for me, the way that I've sort of built my brand or affinity to things I love is through sharing of my opinion through blog writing or through articles or through LinkedIn or supporting other women, supporting other BIPOC creators. So it shares its alignment with what your passions are and what your interests are. And people get an idea of what your brand will be or your personal preferences. Never cut corners. I don't think you should cut corners when you're building your brand, your personal brand. Hire a nice photographer, pay that extra money, get some beautiful photos done, change your outfits 5 times so you have enough content for a while, work on the copy. I think all of these things are super important, and I've never been one to cut corners, even when I started on my own. And I know it would take longer and harder because I started from scratch, but I really think it's important. And at the end of the day, we're going to talk about relationships and all of those things too. So that all comes down to how people see you and how they identify with you. So I think it's something I strongly support, and happy to answer any questions later on if you guys have them about branding.
if I can quickly add, something that came to mind in hearing you all speak is staying true to yourself. For example, I know that I consume a lot of social media. I love watching stories and all of that, but making them, once in a while I'm gonna post and then I would never try to overpost just because it's what I'm supposed to do. So always stay true to yourself. And another key important thing is building your personal brand has, as you said, Priya, can take different ways, right? It can be through sharing articles that you read about certain topics, and then all of a sudden you become a reference, for all of these interesting topics, and people might be like, oh, so-and-so shared that article, let me go back to their page, and oh, these great articles, and in the end, you're not even sharing anything about yourself, you're just sharing content that you care about, and you also build your brand through that, and you inform and help enlighten others the same way. So there are really different ways to go about it. But at the end, everything that you choose to share or put forward builds your brand. So you have to be mindful about that too. Yeah.
I echo that last statement. Be mindful of what you are putting out there because it will stay with you forever and it does become part of your personal brand. So I know when we started our company and we were going to be on social media, one thing we said to each other, my partner and I, was that we would never be venting emotionally or being on social media. It's just you see people just ruin their entire careers and business doing that. So that's something to be very mindful of.
We're only on the first question. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm going to let you pick the next one because everyone a chance.
Okay. How has being a woman of color impacted being taken seriously during negotiations?
Oh, I got answers for that. So I think I'm going to talk about like the mistake I used to make. Because I'm generally, if you've ever met me, I'm a fairly direct, fairly straightforward person. I speak very plainly about a lot of things, particularly in business. And in the early parts of my career, when I was working with a lot of men, they would be like, oh, you're not soft enough. I don't like the way she spoke to me. And it would send me. Because I was not speaking to them in any way other than saying like, hey, this is what I need from you and here's when I need it. And it was such a problem and it was feedback I would consistently get. And to this day, like inside my soul, it upsets me because men could speak to other men like that and men could speak to women like that, but I couldn't speak to you like that, particularly in a position of authority. And as I've progressed, now that I can reflect on my career, what I've learned is that I was trying to speak and negotiate like a man, and I'm a woman. And that was a mistake. And so now I speak and negotiate like a woman. And I think there's the thoughts of like feminine and masculine energy. They have nothing to do with gender or sex, but they have to do with energies. And so reframing how I was approaching those situations to, I don't even want to say sit in my feminine, but sit a little more in my feminine while still being assertive has changed how I deal with negotiations. And I think it has worked better for me in the long run and put me in better positions to be able to do it. So that, I think, has been very challenging and something that I'm sure a lot of women in this room have gone through. And it's such a tiny frame change in how you deal with those things because at the end of the day, we're not men. And we shouldn't be negotiating the way that men do. It's not ever going to be received or perceived in the way that you want it to be. So that's going to be like an uphill battle. So I'm very much a person who is like, okay, well, we are within the system we're in, okay? It is what it is. We can't raise the system to the ground, so you have to find a way to work within the constructs of the system that you have. So that's been very beneficial to me, and I'm happy I figured that out.
I can jump in. I've done a lot of negotiations in my life. I started as an entrepreneur. I was 24 years old. I'm 44, so it's 20 years, my 20-year anniversary of being an entrepreneur. And when I started, I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. I did not have a network, definitely didn't have any money. So I started this from scratch, knocking on doors, cold calling for many, many years. The first business I had, I did not succeed at it. I had a business with partners, and it was an epic fail after 6 years. Yes, 6 years. I was very stubborn. I thought it could work, and there was a lot of personal attached to that, that partnership. So once I restarted on my own, and I did restart because I knew in my heart that I could succeed, it was a whole different story. But I have to tell you, the hardship was that when I started, I'm from Montreal. I'm Indian as well by background. My network is really diverse in Montreal. It's a wonderful city to be in. However, the decision makers in Montreal are often white and francophone. So when I went into these pitches, my name, Priya Chopra, they would say, "Is Chopra your first name?" And I'm like, "No, actually, it's my last name." And obviously the language was an issue for me, being an Anglophone. And I quickly realized that in a business where you hire somebody for the relationship, because I sell services, don't have like an object I'm selling, it's the relationship and the personality, they're not gonna connect with me necessarily the way they would with another person that speaks their language that looks like them. And I felt that because I wasn't winning those contracts and I wasn't winning those bids. So I ended up actually taking a leap of faith and coming to Toronto. In this city where I feel very much at home. And I launched my office in Toronto, never moved here, but I opened an office here, small little office with one employee in 2013. And today we're a team of almost 40 people, girls in the house right there. And Toronto welcomed me and I felt great here. And that's what I had to do to be able to make things work and get on an even playing field. So, sometimes you gotta do what it takes and never give up. And it takes, major efforts to get people to listen.
Okay. I started out my career I'm a lawyer, and I co-founded a firm. Me and my friend, we were about 23 or something. Co-founded a firm. We're gonna do this new thing in Montreal, offer fixed rate services to startups with business consulting and all that. So 2 young women, she's white, I am black, in Montreal, starting out. Let's go. Okay, go ahead. I tried, in the beginning I did a lot of networking events, go on and on. I love to talk to people, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I knew that I was still viewed as the young black women lawyer, yes, trying to sell services and tell people, yes, I'm gonna help you build your business, go over your contracts and so on. And I could feel that I was not taken seriously in many of these instances, not all. We were still able to, acquire clients and grow, but I could evidently feel the fact that I was not being taken seriously. And I feel like there's no one way to go about it. The first thing that I would say is always be aware of how people perceive you. And there's also, whenever you're negotiating or even just trying to get in touch with them, you start a conversation, listen to what the person is saying, and also all the visual cues, the way the person is, if the eyes of the person is going somewhere else, okay, they're not taking me seriously, they're not, and you try to find ways to connect, don't go overboard. At some point if somebody is, doesn't view you seriously, whatever, move on. But try to find ways to get that person's attention the right way and show your value because you are valuable. So I learned that along the way to try to find ways to connect. But I also, there comes a point where you need to, well, you don't want my business, I don't want to work with you either, and you move on, right? When you're starting out your business, you're looking for clients, it's a little bit more difficult to do, but you do have to know when to stop. But the main thing, and my parents always, growing up, we always had conversation about race, about, being proud of our roots, being proud of who we are, but also being aware of how other people will conceive us, but never let that stop you, because it will happen even now when, finally everybody actually care about diversity and inclusion now. We're finally, even now, people, that will continue to happen. So to always be aware of that and never let that stop you and keep moving.
All great points. I'll keep it short because we're short for time. But everything that was touched on, I feel I related to. So when Cleo spoke about that masculine energy, when I first started in business, I was like, okay, I'm this red personality. I'm gonna go in, bulldozer down everybody and get shit done. But then, like Mona Lisa just said, you gotta listen. So when you're in that room, you're not listening to respond, you're listening to understand. What does the client need that you can provide? And provide it at a level of excellence that no one else can. So then when Priya spoke about coming to Toronto, also go where you fit in. And it's like, where you got to be the best. You are the best at something that you do. No one else can do it like you. It's a gift that we've all been given. So figure out what that is and dive in deeper into what that is. And just, that's how you go into negotiations. Be confident, be prepared, and look your best, feel your best. Wellness is a big part of this. I think Cleo, like she says, she's in the gym every day. I don't know if she worked out this morning, but it's inspiring to me as an entrepreneur. I know how that feels when you have a big negotiation coming up in the afternoon. The best thing you can do is go to the gym in the morning and just get all of that anxiety and tension and everything out, and just follow through, listen to what people need and fulfill that need.
I just want to say one more thing too, guys. Like, something that Mona Lisa touched on is like knowing when to throw in the towel. And I'm really big on this, especially as a Black woman, as someone who represents other Black women and people of color. Not all money is good money. And I know that when you are negotiating for yourself, it is so friggin' hard to say no when you need money. But I swear to God, this is not a lie. When you say no to the things that undervalue yourself and your business and the people that you work with, you literally open the door for the things that do. And they will try. I have people all the time, like our business survived, my DJ business survived COVID. We are so lucky to still stand after that. It was a hard 2.5 years. And I've had many companies that I know that have money, not mom and pop people who are like, oh, I want to hire a DJ, but big companies, corporations being like, oh, well, your budget's too high. And that will send me into all of masculine energy, and I will literally respond back to them. Exactly what I said. I'm like, you know what? We're a Black-owned business in Toronto who represent Black women. We are lucky to have survived this. If you don't want to pay us what our rates are, that all of our clients pay us, that's no problem. Go hire a DJ with a ripped shirt and a backwards cap who's going to show up and do what you want to do. But when I say no to those things, I'm also like showing the women who work for us and who've stuck with us for 7 years that I will never ask you to take less money, because I would literally rather cook every grain of rice on earth individually than do that to anybody. So that's super important. Know when to say no and stand in that. Don't ever be afraid of it. When you do it, you will see. Just try it one time, you'll see.
Mm-hmm. Level of excellence.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. All right. Adeela, do the honors for the next one.
Let's see. Tell us how relationship building is crucial when closing a deal.
Want to start?
All right, I'll start. Man, relationship building is everything. Everything.
Everything.
When you talk about negotiations, it's always great to have allies, right? To have people that have your back around, that or influence to that person that you're trying to attract or get to sign that deal. But in order to have these allies, you have to build relationships. You have to build relationships, and you have to maintain those relationships. And truthfully, every single thing that I've been able to do throughout my career so far has been because of the amazing relationships that I was able to build on the ground. And once again, when you think about relationship building and networking, there are numerous ways that you can go about it, but find your own style and what works for you. I'm a big one-on-one person. I'm a big, it's a question of vibe, and I connect with people, and once that happens, I make sure that I maintain it one way or another, but it's completely genuine. I maintain it because I want to maintain it, because we build a strong bond, and then that person I know is my ally in XYZ opportunity. So never neglect relationship building. It's really the basis of everything, not only in negotiations, in everything. Yeah.
I think another aspect of relationship building is also connected to your reputation, right? So you have to be true to your word. So it's not enough to just wow somebody and, you know, try to get them to like you or believe you or buy what you're selling. I think you have to follow through, and I think you need to also be prepared for whatever the conversation is going to be. They say that achievement is talent, but it's preparedness. You know, the 10,000-hour rule and all that. I really believe in that. I believe that you should be prepared, that you should come equipped to not only say, hey, you know, you can do whatever they're asking of you, but that you will carry it forward, that you will be able to follow through on what you're saying. So I think reputation is so tied to this, and that's, you know, our clients, they call us, we don't advertise, it's purely word of mouth and it's service. So obviously they like working with me, they like working with our team, and that's how we've been able to grow our business. And there's times where, yes, we don't like working with each other as well. It can happen, and it's not a bad thing. It's just we have different values, and that's also possible. So I think that that's something that's super important, is that remember that it's not just for today. Your reputation will carry forward, and that's, all of us can to attest to that, having been in the business for so long. We all kind of knew each other from somewhere, somehow, had heard of each other in a positive light, because that's your value, and that's what you're gonna bring forward. So remember that.
Like they both said, it's everything. Relationships are everything. We have not met, I have not met these ladies in person before, but I have worked with them. And it's incredible that's all because of relationships. It's all because of relationships. Everything you do in life and in business will be about the relationships. You know, making those connections and finding your way through all of this. I love being in a room like this. I love seeing all of these faces and making that connection, and the people, and be intentional about it too. I remember when I first started in business, I would go to an event like this, a networking event. I'm like, I'm gonna leave with five contacts or 10 contacts. And eventually, over time, you build relationships with the people you're supposed to. So, you know, maybe not that entire 10 people, you're not gonna be friends with 10 years down the road, or business partners or colleagues, or have worked on a project together. But there are people in this room that I have worked with 10 years ago. And, you know, now they're here today, and there are people that I met earlier this year. So it's just, it is everything. We can't stress how important building relationships are to your business.
I think the primary thing in all of this is trust. So when you're doing all of this, it's building trust. So interesting story. Priya's actually been hiring my DJ agency since we have been in business for 7 years. And not only has it's now trickled down into her team. So things that she probably isn't even aware that we're hired for, we're also hired for. And what I sell in my business is not spectacular DJs. My DJs are great. I'm not selling that. What I'm selling is ease of use to my clients. So they hire me, and every client is a repeat client for many, many, many years. And the reason they hire us is because they know that they're gonna pick up the phone, send me an email, say, Cleo, I need someone on X date, X time, X location, and that whole entire thing is taken off of their plate. And they will pay any amount of money to make that happen. And what that also gives is me the opportunity to still foster those things with my clients. So I send them like handwritten cards at Christmas, like little things to be like, hey, like thanks for this. And even in the brand partnership stuff, you know, you get to know who's who in the industry fairly quickly. Yesterday, this is no lie, I sent up a bat signal to probably 5 people I know in the industry because I'm having a hard time getting something for a client. And it's very hard to not win when you're someone who's like a constant winner, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not winning. and I was like, ugh. And I sent up a bat signal, and I got on the phone with these people who owe me nothing, by the way. And I said, I need you to solve this for me. I need you to get me something right now. Call anybody you can make this happen. Please, can you help me? I am desperate. And every single one of them sent up another bat signal to the next person, because we have a relationship that spanned many years. And because I said I'm in trouble and I need help and I need this to happen, or something bad's gonna happen.
And I bet you help them when
every
they
time,
need
girl,
help too.
listen, if you pick up the phone and you call me, I'm like, let's solve that problem. I'm known as the purveyor of things. So that is what I mean when I say trust, is that I have delivered for each and every one of those persons 100 times over, so that when the time came for me to be like, hey, I need this, they're like, what? Immediately, like, yo, I got my kids in the car, let's make this happen, what do you need? And that's what they do. So that's what I mean when I say trust. It's important, like Adeela said, to be like, to stick to your word, to deliver, and to hold yourself and themselves accountable. That is also super important, not throwing people under the bus, all that stuff. So, yeah. What do we got?
We've got the time cue. Nicole's in the house.
We're done.
She said we could have like 10 more minutes. We got one more question.
You guys want questions?
Questions, let's do questions.
We're having too much fun. Okay, let's do questions. I don't know.
No questions.
We can't do questions.
Oh, no questions?
We can do one brief,
We have one more
one sentence for the last question.
Okay, one sentence.
Challenge accepted.
I'm being nice,
Oh.
my team's gonna kill
Oh
me
God,
for that.
Cleo, this one. I think you're gonna love this one. Can you speak to the shift of traditional marketing to influencer-based marketing?
Baby.
Get into it. Get into it, people. Get into it.
5 minutes? Can we have 5 minutes? Is 5 minutes a respectable number? Yes, collectively. Yeah, look, guys, it's definitely a shift. Influencer marketing is massive. What can I tell you about the negotiation piece on that? Okay, if you're negotiating for an influencer or content creator, don't you ever forget these brands have money, okay? Period, point blank. Do not allow them to convince you that they don't have any money to do it. So remember that like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, they were spending tens of thousands and thousands of dollars on advertising and marketing budgets. They no longer have to spend, Vogue does not have to spend now what they spent on editorial shoots now today, because there's a million other ways to advertise. So that budget, it exists. And don't let them undersell you. So there's money to be made, there's money to be had. Closed mouths don't get fed. Ask for your money.
It's growing massively. If you're thinking about getting into it, get into it. Go high, like Cleo said. Do not take $200 for an influencer campaign. And only because this is the thing. A $200 budget versus a $2,000 budget, it's like you can really provide a level of excellence to the client that will keep them coming back for more, that will bring other companies to you. Because if you have $200, you're probably going to make the reel yourself. You're going to have crappy audio, blah, 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 blah. But if you have a $2,000 budget, maybe you can hire a makeup artist, a hairstylist, you can get a cute little outfit, and you can hire a videographer to film the reel for you. So there's just a level of excellence that you will be able to provide. So just keep that level for yourself and never go low, always go high.
So through One Milk, Two Sugars, we work with influencers since the dawn of influencer marketing, and now through Double Shot, we work with influencers representing them personally. One thing I noticed at One Milk, Two Sugars, when we would get quoted from influencers, especially BIPOC influencers, they would underquote. And at times, we would already be approved the budget from the client, and I recall a few instances where I felt so not right at how much they underquoted. I said, charge me $1,000 more, please, on that invoice. Because I wanted to make sure they understand that there is room there. However, I know we're all saying more money. Yes, do it. However, be sound in your argument. Brands are smart too. As an agency, we have tools, we look at analytics, there's obviously a lot of benchmarks, and there's criteria that they look for. You might be amazing, but they also have like a needle in a haystack criteria. So come with, preparedness again, have your stats in order, have your beautiful media kit, all of those all those things that we talked about. Have your arguments in order as well. Okay, that's it.
What they said. But yeah, no, essentially, know your worth, be authentic, and keep in mind that there's a reason why they're reaching out to you. They want to connect with the people you're able to connect with, not effortlessly, but, in the right way. So keep that in mind, and yes.
Wait, one more thing. I'm sorry guys, I have to tell you, if you're a content creator, I know, you get paid for your post, you get paid for whitelisting, you get paid for amplification, and you get paid for exclusivity. Every single one of those is what you get paid for. Thank you.
Yeah, love it.